Hi, welcome back to Field Notes from Sophia. I'm Michelle. Today I want to talk about something I call the 80-20 rule. Reality creation isn't about pretending, it's about redirecting your energy towards what you want to exist. Okay, and I want to talk about this on a collective level, not a personal level today. It's making sure that your actions align with intention. Okay, so what we believe is real is what the illusion reflects. Okay, I was shown how it's all an illusion upon awakening. Okay, what we believe is real and true is what is reflected back to us. Okay, it's not showing us what is, it's echoing what we collectively feed with our attention. So for many of us, we feel outrage at what's happening with the old paradigm collapsing. In the US, authoritarianism is taking over. These things feed our outrage. It's basically like outrage corn. You know what I mean? And what's the old paradigm? It's oligarchy, patriarchy, suppression and control, distorted masculine. The divine masculine is not what we see in power right now. The new paradigm is the divine feminine in balance with the divine masculine. Community, acceptance, unity consciousness, love, equality. That's the new paradigm. And the problem is we have to grieve the old while it's falling, but not feed it our attention. So where our attention goes, our energy flows. If we only focus on outrage, collapse, corruption, we're unknowingly feeding the very distortion we're trying to escape. It doesn't matter if you're feeding the old paradigm, for example, the US government, adoration or outrage. It's all energy to that paradigm. So the more you feed it, the more it grows. So this is important to understand, because the more outrage you feel about it, and I'm not saying it's not justified, it's justified. I'm saying the more outrage you feel about it and the more attention you put on it, the more you're literally feeding it. It's literally siphoning your energy. Outrage is magnetic, but it's not momentum unless it's redirected. So that's why I came up with an 80-20 principle. Okay. So the 80-20 split, 80% is construct the new earth. Okay. Anchor your energy in what you want more of. Mutual aid networks, bartering, community dinners, local healing, soil tending, shared child care, teaching kids that their body is sacred, creating new economic systems, reweaving connection, practicing sovereignty, not just preaching it. And that also means things like inviting a neighbor to dinner. That's still community. So focus attention on that. And then the 20% should go to collapsing the old paradigm. Feed the truth speakers energy in the form of donation, or literally like beaming love and light to them from your chest. Like, there are some people out there who are in the belly of the beast, calling out corruption, um, you know, speaking truth, and we want them to be empowered in every way possible. There's some people whose mission in this world is to help create policy that helps everyone. Um, and that may not be your calling, but we still have to do it. It still has to happen. So what you can do with that 20% is, you know, feed the truth speakers, energy, donations, whatever you want. Boycott distortion, which means, corruption, um, lies, anything that's not true to our divine blueprint. Okay, all the things that feel wrong to your heart. Okay, stop feeding it energy. Really, if we all just focused on the future we wanted, then the old paradigm will collapse even faster. That's how it works. So boycott it. Like, we also boycott the oligarchy as much as possible, right? Disengage from systems that feed off of fear. Speak out when silence will cost too much. protest when necessary, and redirect your scrolling energy with discernment. So curate your feed, okay? Find people who give you good content, not just outrage stuff, stuff that feed your anger, stuff that's informative. I'm not saying you should be blind to it, because we have to live in this realm, and I for one can't be, because for instance, I think I've told you before, am I going to be silent while my rights are taken away? I don't think so. Like, I'm still going to stand up for that, but I'm not going to feed it my energy every day in dribs and drabs. The other thing is, a lot of people seem to believe that we can just ignore the illusion and just vibrate new earth into place, but it doesn't work like that. It actually takes action. And see, you choose it, you seed it, you act from it, and we choose which polarity, the dark or the light, that we're going to incarnate into before we come to earth. Okay, so, and that doesn't mean that things can't change. Someone who incarnates for the light can go to the dark, and vice versa. Okay, it's not set in stone. Destiny is always being written. But if the dark polarity acts, okay, so like, we can't vibrate or be high frequency enough to just make it collapse. It's going to take action. So the dark polarity networks. The dark polarity does the energy part. The dark polarity does, the action part, the financial part. They do all of it. But the light polarity, we're just like, oh, love and light, love and light. Well, I'll just raise my vibration and everything will be fine. That's not how the old paradigm falls. So we have to do something about that. And we're not bypassing, we're engineering. Okay, when we do the 80-20 principle, we're not ignoring that 20%. We're just saying, I'm going to take 80% of my energy, and I'm going to participate in my local farmers market, or I'm going to start a local farmers market, or I'm going to start a community group at my library, or I'm going to study something that's one of the old ways, like herbs or Reiki or things like that. We're going to focus our attention on what we want to build, but it really does come down to community, which actually, if you study how people survive fascism or authoritarianism, it does come down to community. So for those of us who enjoy politics, not the division of it, but the strategy of it and the policy that benefit people of it, understanding that community is our way out, whether you're spiritual or practical or both. Community is the way, okay? And we collapse the illusion by refusing to sustain it with our energy and building a replacement that it cannot infect. Okay, this is key. Like, we have to seed new earth now. We have to build it. Now, some people are already out there building it with words and things like that. And some people even are building community centers and healing centers and things like that. But it's going to take all of us building community. And separation is the original lie. Reality creation rooted in sovereignty remembers we are all one, which is true. We all exist inside source. Like, we are all fractals of source. And that's why healing your block is healing the field. So if you help heal your community through community connection, you're healing the whole field. And I'll give you an example of this. In the US years ago, the government used to divide communities. When I was awakened, I understood the energy of this, that by dividing communities, through by roads, putting roads through or trains through, you're disrupting the energy, which, imagine like a mycelial network underneath the earth. Okay, that's what energy for a community is like. Okay, it's all woven underneath. So when you put a road through it, you're decreasing that community's power, literally their energetic power. So it's really important to rebuild those energetic mycelial networks. Okay, and you do that through community. Now, I am working on this myself. I'm gonna start a group at my local library for community. I'm gonna build on Facebook a mutual aid network, and I've joined a women's circle one town over. So I'm doing what I can too while still healing myself. But these are some small actions that I'm taking in addition to, like, the grid work that I do, which I'll be doing a video on soon. But and the healing on myself, like I said. So you're not crazy for feeling the collapse. Grieve it. It is upsetting to see freedoms being taken away, people being taken away. It's very upsetting, and I'm not saying don't witness it. That's our karma too. Like, to if those of us who can't look away, it's probably because in a former life we did look away when atrocities happen. I can't seem to look away, but I try not to give it more than 20%. Okay. And then we're just ready to build something better. So what would you rather do? Honestly, what would make you more fulfilled? Would it make you more fulfilled every other day to check in on the news and instead focus an hour a day to doing something in your community? Even doing self-care is better than being outraged, because even that feeds the light grid, basically. Feed the vision and anchor the action. So take some action. It could be sweeping a neighbor's porch. It literally does not have to be something crazy. Little steps ripple farther than you know. I have examples of this. I helped a farmer out, not my jam, but it was winter. She was hurting, and I went and like fed her geese under like this net where I had to like crouch under and all this other stuff. But I was like, yeah, this is community. She needed help. I was meant to be here to help her out. And that's how we create a reality worth living in. And I just want to remind you, no one owns you. You are light, you are safe, you are sovereign. No one can tell you that you don't own your divine blueprint, that you don't have access to your birthright, which is abundance, safety, freedom, liberty, lightness. I mean, these are your birthrights. So, and sovereignty is one of them. So I just want to remind you that you're more supported than you'll ever know. You're so loved by the universe, by your guides, by many galactic beings, and by me. And I'd love it if you liked, subscribed, and left a comment. Let me know what are your ideas. What's your dream for New Earth? What would you like to build? The new paradigm, even though the old one will soon hopefully be in ash.